Now, in this fourth frame of the chapter number 3rd of the Economic Development of India, form 12th in economics, we are going to see the effects of liberalization on the financial sectors. Dear friends, financial sector is as important as the blood for our body for any of the economy. So what is the importance of the blood? That is the same importance of the money or finance for any economy or for any country. So it is very important sector, and we are interested to know that after 1991, when the policy of liberalization was introduced, what were the effects on this sector? Now the financial sector consists of banking, whole banking system, RBI, insurance companies, foreign exchange, mutual fund, stock exchange, etc. All these are the constituents of the financial sector. So what were the effects? So number one effect, that lessening the role and control of RBI. See, RBI is considered to be the last resort of the monetary system of any India. RBI is the central bank of our country, that is Reserve Bank of India. Earlier, before 1991, it had very dominant role, especially for control, regulation and management of the whole financial system, including the banks. Now, before 91, the central bank of country, RBI, used to play very dominant role with tight control and regulations on financial sector. Now, after the commencement or inception of the liberalization policy in 1991, the role and control of RBI have been reduced to a considerable extent. It means RBI has not withdrawn all the control, all the role or the decision making, but to a great extent, to a considerable extent, it has given relaxation and freedom to the banking sector. The financial sector has been allowed to take decisions in many matters without consulting the RBI. So, without any consultation in some of the matters, now the financial institutions can take their decision after the 1991 with the policy of liberalization. One important thing is here, I want to just, sometimes we have get this question, is the general knowledge question, that who is the present governor of Reserve Bank of India. So my dear friends, the 25th governor of Reserve Bank of India is Mr. Shaktikant Das. He is the governor of India from the 12th December 2018. Mr. Shaktikant Das, that I have written with the blue pen. Now the second effect of this liberalization on the financial sector, it is the entry of private sector in banking and insurance sector. Earlier all the banks were nationalized, so there was no room, no space for the private firms, private financial institutions to play role in the financial sector or especially in the banking and insurance sector. With the liberalization, the rules have been much flexible and much freedom has been given. So liberalization has given relaxation and opportunities to private firms to enter into the banking and insurance sector. Nowadays, we see many of the private banks and many of the insurance companies, they are playing well, they are doing well in the banking and insurance sector. Now, third point, the increase in foreign investment limit. See, India is suffering from a 1950, especially in the resources. And what resources? Capital resources. To need to arrange the capital resources for any of the sector, like in primary sector, secondary sector or tertiary sector, what is the requirement? Capital resources. So that the need of the resources, capital resources or fund or money can be removed if we are able to attract the foreign investment. So earlier the limit of the foreign investment was very low. So with the reforms of 1991, this limit has been extended to 50%. So The new limit for the foreign institutional investment FII has been extended to 50% after the policy reform of liberalization. Now this FII foreign institutional investment is very crucial and important term. See, there are two types of investment. One is FDI and the other one is FII. FDI refers to the foreign direct investment. Apart from money funds, the FDI can be in the other also other examples also like technology, machinery, purchase of assets. So investment in FDI can be in such areas also, but as far as FII is concerned, it is only the capital related, and the FII is only related to the financial sector or secondary sector. Secondly, the foreign investment is foreign institutional investment in the financial market is done for the high returns. They are generally of short term in nature. The investment have been done in the portfolio management, in the mutual fund, in the stock exchange, and purchasing the share of the company. But there is a major difference between the FDI and FII. In FII, the investor does not enjoy the control over the decision making and the management of the firm. Okay, so there are little difference between FDI and FII, but it's very significant and important. So, and secondly, for the FII, the registration with SEBI is also necessary in the India as per the regulations. So, next point, the expansion of banking network and infrastructure. You must have seen our Honorable Prime Minister is emphasizing on the Jan Dhan Yojana, because there is a need, the participation of the layman in the financial system. But without proper financial infrastructure, but without proper banking network, it is not possible. So it was a very important need to expansion of the banking network, especially the rural areas. Why the rural areas? Because much of our population still reside in the rural areas, and our primary sector, agriculture, is working in the rural areas much. So expansion of banking network and infrastructure, the liberalization policy made it possible. With the implementation of liberalization policy, the banks have given much freedom in taking decisions like opening new branches, especially rural and backward areas or backward regions. The development of banking infrastructure plays very important role in the economy, because the farmers, they are suffering a lot because of the loans. They have to borrow money, and when they borrow the money from the Mahajan or the local people, they take very high interest. Okay, so they are suffering a lot. So banking network and banking infrastructure should be developed, especially in the rural areas. That will also important. That will do a lot of important work in our economy. Then fifth one in the financial resources. Fifth one, the generation of financial resources through FII. As I discussed, that if we are able to attract the financial financial resources from the foreign countries, the liberalization policy encourages the generation of capital through foreign institutional investments in the financial areas like portfolio investment, mutual funds, stock exchange, and insurance. They have given a good impetus and accelerate the economic growth with the financial resources.